Thanks for watching. Today I want to go over Chris Watts' time at Cervi 319, and I want to go minute by minute because I'm curious about how much time he actually had to do what he did, essentially. So let's go over it together, and I really want to hear your thoughts about this too. So make sure you drop me a comment and let me know what you think. But before we jump into the timeline, I just wanted to clarify something really quick. This is the map that we got with the Discovery that shows the movement of the trucks by Troy McCoy and by Chris. And this is a photo taken while they were flying the drones out. So I photoshopped them and I created an overlay just so we can get a precise point of where Chris parked his truck. Then I took a truck out of the original picture and I pasted it onto the Photoshop picture just so we can get an idea of where exactly his truck was located. As we go through the timeline, I want you to just picture how long it would take him to do what he needed to do. According to his GPS, we know that he got there at 6:53. In the Wisconsin interview, Tammy asks him, "What happened when you got there?" Let's listen.
Took Shanann out just to a place off to the site.
The first thing that comes up on his phone since his arrival at Cervi is a text message from Cody Roberts at 6:59 a.m. He doesn't respond to him until 10 past 7. So that means that he was out there for a total of 17 minutes doing what he just said he was doing. I thought back to Nate's security footage the morning of when he was loading the truck, and I remember seeing a couple of clips where it took him a little while to load up whatever he was loading up. So I was thinking maybe 17 minutes and that small space. It makes sense that it would take him that long. 8 minutes later, he takes that picture of his computer inside of his truck. Now we know that he allegedly sent this picture to NK because she was questioning his whereabouts. Another 22 minutes go by and he staged a text message to Shanann at 7:40 and then also talked to Troy McCoy for a couple of minutes.
CC was first. I put the blanket over her. I didn't want to. No. I strangled her right there in the back seat.
Okay.
What was Bella doing?
She was sitting right beside her. I didn't look.
I had the audio clip saved somewhere on my computer before it crashed, but I know for a fact that in this interview, he said that he did not dig the grave while the girls were still there. So far, he's had 47 minutes of no phone activity, so there's no way of knowing what exactly he did. 5 minutes after his last phone activity, he calls Chad McNeil and holds a 3-minute conversation. Then after that, at 7:53, he takes the photograph of the oil spill that was underneath one of the batteries. So we know for a fact that at 7:53, he was standing underneath the oil batteries. Then at 7:55, he gets a text message but doesn't respond until 8 a.m.
Just thinking about an oil tank just makes me want to throw up.
And was that just because it was in front of you and there it was and just presented itself? It wasn't a plan beforehand? Okay. Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said, it was like a going up, just going up the stairs, and it just didn't.
22 minutes after his last text message, Chris receives a call from Chad McNeil, and they talk for a couple of minutes. At 8:24, Melissa Parrish estimates they arrived at Cervi 319, whereas McNeil said that they arrived around 8. So there's a little bit of inconsistency because if he arrived at 8, then Chris would not have had these 22 minutes to himself. But if Melissa Parrish is right, and they did arrive at 8:24, then he would have had those extra 22 minutes basically. Then at 8:25, he stages a call to Shanann. When asked how long he was there by himself, this is what he said.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girls?
Hard to really tell. I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So let's assume that they didn't show up at 8, that they showed up at 8:24, and Chris had those 22 minutes to himself. Do you think that he had enough time to walk back to Shanann, dig the grave? Actually, he said that he first cleared the weeds before he actually dug the grave, and then had the time to bury her, put everything back together, and throw everything away before his coworkers started showing up. The next phone activity is when he started calling the school, and by this time, in my opinion, he was already done with everything that he needed to do. And I think at this point, some of the coworkers definitely showed up. And when asked about those phone calls and why he would ever make them, this is what Chris said.
I was freaking out. I didn't know, like I was thinking in my head, like what I just did, what I just done, and I didn't know, like it was stupid to do anything. Just, I mean, to call the school, to call Ann, to call anybody. I mean,
We know he later takes pictures of wildflowers for his mistress, but I didn't go that far. I stopped whenever I knew for sure that someone was at the site with him. My math is really bad, but this is the number that I came up with. Give or take 20, 22 minutes up, well, not up, but down. So anywhere from an hour to about an hour and 10, 15 minutes total.
I don't know why it was like a roller coaster ride that I just kept punching the ticket on and just never picked it up.
So we've concluded that he's had about an hour and 15 minutes by himself at Cervi 319 before his coworkers started showing up. Is an hour enough to unload a body, to commit double homicide, to dispose of the bodies, to go back, dig a grave, to bury the body, and then go on about your day as if nothing happened? I'm having a hard time believing that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to subscribe, join our Facebook group, and if you want to support the channel, you can join us on Patreon too. Thank you.